bad chicken, maybe stuff out, maybe stuff on the counter overnight is bad, maybe salmonella or any other conditions. It's the most common cause of foodborne illness and can double every half hour. So, for example, in 4 hours, if you cook something and you leave something on the counter, it can multiply up to 250,000 bad cells, bacteria. That's what you're eating. So in 12 hours, let's say you cooked last night for dinner and we're always busy on the run and completely forgot to put the food in the refrigerator. Or you ask your kids and of course they forget it because that's what they do. That's 33 million bad cells, and that's what you're eating. And believe me, you're not gonna feel good if you get infected with something. So other things that cause foodborne illnesses is parasites. Parasites deal more with cooking. This is where that danger zone comes in. Certain meats, poultry, ground beef, steaks, you have to cook them to a certain temperature. Okay? Common sense. Chemicals. Obviously, in your houses, if you have food, you're not going to put the Clorox on the same shelf as the food, correct? Common sense. Hopefully, you're thinking the same way here at the food pantry. Everything should be somewhat separated. Alright? Viruses are small particles that go from person to person.
So you blocked them.
Oh. Thank you very much. Alright. So viruses, small particles that go from person to person. Okay, this is now where it comes on us. Do we have clean clothes? Are we wearing gloves? Are we coming in coughing, sneezing? I know after COVID kind of turned the world upside down. We're doing somewhat better, we're getting better out of it, but just be careful of viruses. Alright, any questions here? So potentially hazardous food. Every food is considered potentially hazardous, but there's some more that require certain care and better requirements when storing them. Those are the ones that this is referring to. For example, a box of crackers, is that what's more hazardous? Meat or box of crackers?
Meat.
Alright, so common sense. Alright, so here you can tell we have an acronym that we say FAT-TOM because pathogens or bad cells, they need a source of food. Acidity. Bacteria grows faster in acidic foods. Alright, tomato paste, lime sauce, stuff like that. So if people try to marinate, just make sure you put stuff, you marinate it on the counter and you put it back in the refrigerator immediately. Okay? Time, pathogens need time to grow. Obviously, the longer you keep something outside, after cooking, it's actually bad too as well because let's say you cook something and you try to eat something after 4 hours. Is that safe or not? Now, whatever you do in your house, if you're used to that, somebody cooks at a certain time, the husband or wife doesn't come till a later time, what do? Are you supposed to put that food in the refrigerator, like put it in the container and put it in the refrigerator, and then you can eat it, okay? But, depending on what goes around in your houses, like it just depends on the time you leave the food outside, okay? Temperature, danger zone is from 41 degrees to 140 degrees. Alright, and we're going to talk more about that. So oxygen, some pathogens need oxygen. For example, you take these bag of chips, you break the seal, right? If it's sealed, it can last a couple of days, weeks. Once you pop the seal, you got to eat them fast before they get stale, right? So same thing with a lot of products. A lot of products that you open, once you pop the seal, that's when they start going bad. Okay? And moisture. Some bread. You can't leave bread outside to get water on it because it gets moldy faster, right? So all those things are needed, and that's what makes potentially hazardous food more hazardous. That's like how you know box of crackers or the meat because it can get dangerous fast or become more dangerous. Foods in so like I said, characteristics. Foods high in moisture and nutrients, for example, proteins and carbohydrates, beans, rice, you have to keep them in the bag or you have to use them immediately. You can't let them sit out after you let the air in. Foods that are low in acid are bad. Certain foods require extra care and storage. Alright? And if you're unsure, just consider every food possibly dangerous. Okay? So what are the things that you can do to prevent foodborne illness at your pantry? What can you do to make sure that everybody stays safe? Yes.
Wear gloves.
Wear gloves. Anything else?
I was big plane. I was playing when inside.
Try to keep the pantry as clean as you can. Keep yourself clean. So I got a couple true false questions. Food poisoning is a serious illness that can last longer than a day or two.
True.
Alright. It is safe to thaw meat. Now, like I said, some of these practices you've probably been doing in your homes for a long time. I'm not telling you to change them. This doesn't really affect the pantry because we don't deal with raw meats, raw cooking, and nothing in the food pantry. This is more common sense and what the Department of Health wants you to think about it. It is safe to thaw meat on the counter since it starts out frozen. Bacteria isn't a problem.
False.
False.
So a quick thing about refrigeration and cold. The only way to kill bacteria is to cook it to the right temperature. Okay? Refrigeration and freezing only slows down the growth of bacteria. Doesn't kill it. So sometimes you go into the freezer, you take something out, and you realize, oh well, nobody's gonna come, I should put it back in the freezer. It's been outside on the counter, and then you shouldn't do that. That's bad because what happens is the refrigeration slows the bacteria, and if you left it on the counter for 4 hours, then you decided not to cook it, then you put it back in the freezer. That's bad. You're gonna get freezer burn. You're gonna potentially do something worse to it. Okay, so just be mindful of that. When cleaning my kitchen, the more bleach I use, the better. More bleach kills more bacteria, so it's safer for my family.
False.
Absolutely. There's a ratio. I think it's like 1 teaspoon to a quarter of water. The last thing you want to do is you want to be cleaning, wax on, wax off, and then you're going to be doing salsa and knock out. And that's probably how this wasn't meant to be. Alright. So I need to wash my vegetables and fruits if I'm going to peel them.
True.
That's true.
Common sense. We don't know. They're coming from the fields, machines, people are touching them, we don't know.
Pesticides.
Sometimes they spray pesticide on them. Always wash fruits and vegetables. Common sense. To get rid of any bacteria in my meat, poultry, seafood, I should rinse off the liquid residue with the water first.
True.
False. So, I know what you're thinking. This question should be worded differently. Most of the meat comes in the package, right? You could rinse it off with with the running water, not at the high capacity, because all that's gonna do is spray and then kick out to the rest of the counter, the sink and everything, causing possible cross-contamination. So like I said, some people, the best way that the Department of Health tells you to do is something, have running water. Some people have told me that they put it in a pot, in like a little bowl with water, and they just let the meat or whatever sit there. That's not healthy either, because the water, the bacteria needs to be rinsing off, so it's not sitting in that same pile of water that you're trying to rinse off. So remember, running water. Well, this question is mostly saying you take a packet of ground beef, you take it out the packaging, and then you're rinsing off the meat. We don't do that. Leave it in the whatever packaging, let it thaw out with the broth a little bit. But technically, it's saying that you shouldn't rinse off the liquid residue with water first. One, we don't know what's in these pipes, how long those pipes are. The water from the pipe is not filtered. Filtered to some degree, but not filtered completely. Last thing you want to do is wash the chicken and have that water soak into the pores inside the chicken. So that's why it's false. The only reason to let food sit after it's been microwaved is to make sure you don't burn yourself on the food because it may be too hot.
True.
So does anybody know how microwaves work?
Kinda.
What do you think?
It's like it's like heat waves coming from like a light bulb or something.
Yes. So,
Radiation.
But other than that heat wave, because this is very important, that the microwaves cook from the outside and it brings the heat in. You ever take if you look at packages with microwave stuff, it'll say, let's sit in microwave a minute or 2 minutes after it's been done.
Yeah.
You know why? You microwave something, the outside is hot. And once you get to the middle, it's still
It's still cold, yeah.
So technically, you're supposed to let it sit so that
It can condense.
Yes. Now, nothing beats a home cooked meal. A nice slow cooked meal tastes even better. Let me tell you.
Of course.
But you know, in this world, everything is go here, go drop off here, go drop off the kids, go take wifey somewhere to the doctors. I mean, we're always in a move. So if there's no other choice, just be careful when you use your microwaves. That's pretty much it. All right. Leftovers are safe to eat just until they smell bad.
False.
Remember, there's some that we cannot see, smell, or taste. This is definitely false. Even after the food has been cooked all the way, bacteria has not been killed.
True.
Anything else? Yes. So, when you go to restaurants, let's say you go with a big family, and they ask you, you want everything to come out together? Now, if I order a steak and you order a salad, obviously your salad's gonna be done quicker, right? So what happens is, most of you do see them, and we have hot plates, heating plates, or we have those yellow lights. Those yellow lights emit heat and they keep the food hot, or they try to keep it warm. Like I said, if you cook a meat to the right temperature, 165, or have medium or well done, 165 I believe, as soon as you take it off the stove and you put it on the counter, what happens?
It's cooling down.
It's gonna start getting, and that means bacteria grows in high temperature. So that's why we were talking about like if you cook at 3 in the afternoon and somebody doesn't I don't get home till 5, you know that my food is gonna be cold.
Mm-hmm.
You can reheat. Try not to reheat anything after 3 to 4 hours. Obviously, anything after 4 hours, I'm so sorry, with all the love that my wife cooked it and she meant well, that she's got to deal with me sick. That's even worse for her. So, like I said, even after it's been cooked, just be mindful to try to eat the food at a quicker than 4 hours, if that's the case. Marinades are acidic, which kills bacteria, so it's safe to marinate foods on the counter.
False.
Yeah, as soon as you marinate on the counter, make sure you put it into the containers, Ziploc bags, into the Anybody eat ceviche? Heard of ceviche? I think it's Peru that they don't ask, but if you Google it, they cook with lime and they let it marinate outside. I don't know how healthy that is, but then again, there's people who eat sushi. So it's just, you gotta look into it. Okay? If I really want my produce to be safe, I should wash fruits and vegetables with soap and detergent before I use it.
False.
Infants and children are at higher risk of contracting foodborne illness because they eat less nutritious meals. B, their immune systems have weakened with age. C, they not have built up their adequate immune system, or all the above.
All the above.
Listen, the question is, repeat the question. Why are infants and children at higher risk for contracting foodborne illness? It cannot be D, because since they're young, they're just building their immune system. Okay? Which is the most potentially hazardous food on this list? Frozen chicken, saltine crackers, bananas, or peanut butter?
Chicken.
To my point earlier, some require extra care now. Peanut butter. The thing with peanut butter is some people say peanut butter. It depends on what peanut oil they're using. You guys ever do the oil balsamic vinegar? How sometimes it separates?
Yeah.
You have to shake it and put it in salad. Same thing. Depending on the type of oil from the peanut. If you keep it on the counter for a while, you will see that separation.
It arrives.
Now, that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means you just have to remix it. Okay? Now, when it's bad is after you pop the seal and you'll start seeing mold and maybe you'll start getting really chunky. That I wouldn't touch. But we're going to talk about peanut butter more when we talk about food baby. But just know, yes, the chicken is the most potential hazardous food. What could cause food to become unsafe? Time temperature abuse, cross-contamination, personal poor hygiene, or all the above?
All right.
Yes. All right. So for the people who receive, just if there's a attendance sheet going on, please sign it, make sure, you let me know if you are from New Life Holiness or not. Alright, so for the people who receive food here at their program, you have a lot of power, believe it or not. Now, I know that sometimes the truck, they're trying to drop off the food and be on the merry way to the next stop. If you're there, take your time. Usually, get an invoice copy. So what are the things, some things you should look for when accepting a delivery?
Making sure all the meals are sealed.
Make sure everything's sealed. Yes, anything else?
Expiration date.
Expiration date. So we try to catch that at the warehouse. Nobody's perfect, but if you do happen to see it, please let us know. Usually you do have 24 hours to file a complaint. For example, you ordered 30 cases, but you only got 20 cases. Obviously, that's money right there. I'd complain. Check to see if anything smells bad. We do have a lot of potholes in the city. So, you know, he's driving around and something ships in the truck. What happens? Something starts leaning, something breaks, heavy stuff. I mean, I know they know what to do at the warehouse. They'll put heavy stuff on the bottom, but just in case, if you see something that shouldn't be there, you can send me pictures, send me an email, letting me know what's going on, and you do have the power to reject food. Not all food will be bad. I'm not telling you to reject the whole delivery, but you can reject whatever's bad. Okay, because the last thing you want to do is you also want to have some food for your distribution the following day or whenever you distribute it. All right. So obviously, when you're receiving food, you should check the condition of all food. You should reject anything that has holes, tears, spoilage, or any odors. Like I said, these freeloaders, these pests, they get into everything. It's unhealthy and sanitary. The last thing you want to do is yam that food. Once again, if you wouldn't eat it, if you wouldn't buy it from the store yourself, we're not going to give it out to our community. In the cold, not a problem, but in the summertime, you know, here in the summer in New York, it does get hot sometimes, depending on the storage. I've seen people store like a shipping container on the outside, and that's how they have it. It's modified where they have ventilation, fans and everything, and air conditioning, but some foods in the heat don't last, right? Okay, so there is a little, like those temporal guns that you use by little children, that you can use them on the food to make sure that they're the right temperature. Most of our trucks, all of our trucks at Food Bank are refrigerated, but everything breaks down. So just be careful, be mindful of that. Move cold food directly into the refrigerator or freezer. They the food as soon as they come, excuse me. So, we have something called first in, first out. Sorry. Does anybody know what that is?
Yes. So the old one, the new one goes back and then the old one comes.
Yes. So this is something that we should practice in our own homes. When you buy some food and you go to your house and the cabinet, you want to move everything that's already in the back, move it forward, because that's the next to expire, and then the new stuff, put it towards the back. Same concept. That you could definitely do at your food pantry. Alright? For example, if you're the ones who accept the food, maybe you got a doctor's appointment the next day, or you won't be here the next day. You give the other people. That's why all of you, the more that take this class, are more will understand this. And that's why when you take the food, if you're not going to be there, somebody will know, oh, this is the next food to come out. Okay? Any questions with this? Safe receiving, like I said. Yes. You guys want to break? Go get some water. And food. There's some food over there. Use the restroom.
Probably would want some papers.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the That's how, okay, that's how it's gonna come out. Or Pauline Savage?
Yes.
Is that with an S or Pauline or just regular? Crystal Gentle? Just how gentle is spelled, how it is?
Gentle with an S.
Lopez, Gordon? Gordon?
Yeah. Okay. But I do, you got right there in the street. That's well.
No, I just want to be sure.
They bring that juice in there?
Go get your check. And then pick up I'm going to give you something take off I don't get that lunch. I get a good lunch. What's your name?
Janet Osborne?
I saw you when you came in.
Yeah, I already said.
Deborah Douglas Martin, Haughton.
The chair and pull up.
She went to the bathroom.
Okay, I just want to make sure I get
The
the.
chair pull up.
Faustus?
What?
Faustus? No, that's me, I just want to make sure, the ones that I can, I can make out, that's what I said.
I told you, Julie's just in the bed for months. See if it's your fault.
James Allen? James, right?
Here we go.
And Johnson, I'm sorry for mispronouncing, Tyene? Johnson? Tytyne?
Long time no see.
For the most part, everybody signs, right? Yes, ma'am.
What about like,
I don't know.
you know,
Oh.
it's been left out. It's been
What
given
else?
Donuts.
Very
cool.
Department of Health will tell you how long it's
Very
going.
cool.
That's the sign hours because.
That's the point, my point is, would you evening? Well, here's the thing, you know that somebody's brought, like, let's say somebody brought the food early in the morning.
All dry. Nothing on.
But somebody else who may not know the information, so they know, if it's stale, that will do the At the end of the day.
They're not Krispy Kremes.
Don't get food. Oh, no, that's not. Because you're not
I
giving.
told you it's gonna be food here.
You're keeping it to yourself. That's fine. Like I said, a lot of things that we're gonna talk about is
Good and healthy.
practices that should
Dry.
not be done, or be done internally.
And one thing should be not dry in life.
Whatever your practice is, I'm not gonna say.
And that's the love below.
I've been doing that for so long. This is more,
Other than that,
it's information for you to know, long term.
dry is good.
But for the food pantry, same thing, you're not gonna. I know, there's no right or wrong. It's hard, it's just but
Got an orange
If
juice
you wouldn't
though.
buy it, I wouldn't. But something like that is true. You got an advantage of having leftover food. I take it. But it's also, I'm taking a risk because the food's already cold.
Right. That's what I'm saying, that knowledge is power, but at the same time.
You got how you use it.
Right.
Just like food over 4 hours, like counter, I would
It's an everything bagel. I don't know what the.
I have a list of
Got everything on it. Besides butter, jelly, and cream cheese. Of course, raisin bagel. Raisin bagel is the best. They got tea, coffee. Number 2 is everything. Yeah. That's a double entendre. Nothing on it. Tastes everything. Number 2. I just don't know what these things are. I mean, mad stuff.
That's where they use the spelling. It'll tell you if you have a problem. Remember, if you take this training, it's right here, but you don't mistake it right here. And even if you've done it through United Way and City Harvest, we all
A new phone.
Department of Health, you see, they accept members, United Way, City Harvest.
Bro. So you gotta pay for that one too? Bro. At this point, you're gonna be paying $1,000 and $1,000. That shit crazy. Time to switch service. How long you been with that service?
So I think the only thing I know is City Harvest,
I don't blame you. I wouldn't do it either.
So this is everybody registered outside of.
Message to AT&T. Y'all suck.
Are they receiving EPAP prior? Well, EPAP is not, EPAP will be used from us, and now they're giving it to CFC. It's prior. Please keep an eye out.
This is crazy. I'm paying for phones, paying for phones that don't work.
Okay, no,
Jeez. 18 sucks. I don't know. It's not sweet. It's not.
So nice.
Got me a mandarin.
So if you can, we're gonna get, continuing this training, I know, some people have to go to work.
Yeah, we can send it.
I'm not working. Well, listen, that's why we get paid, right?
I know,
We
that's
get
your
paid
point.
for something we don't wanna do. That's why I tell my young kids, I'm like, if there's something you love, it's a hobby, stay with it for free. When you have to do something you love, when you have to wake up in the morning, I've done it all the time.
Sad when these
That's what it is, right?
are sweeter than this.
All life, man. My son is 14, next year ahead. But just probably stop growing, at least until now. Small one. Like 12. I'm like, he's like, they can't get it. So you can do something, I know you still want to grow something. Like 1 kid, I'm not gonna But it's not like I realize I can look at this bigger than what they get, and the problem is Is everybody ready? Everybody good? Everybody got something to eat? We're able to use the restroom? So we're gonna continue, we're gonna talk about dented cans. So obviously, you guys, we give a lot of cans out. This is dry shelf stable food that usually do have good, depending how you store the items, they will last long. But since we're practicing first in, first out, we're not gonna let it get to, close to the expiration date. So, dented cans, obviously, there's movies, everybody seen the movie Big Daddy? Big Daddy, the father, Adam Sandler teaching this young kid how to get discounted prices on the cans, and the poor kid takes the can and just smashes it on the ground. Because, do they still do that? If it's dented cans, they'll give you discounts?
Nah, don't do that. They sell them
That's
dented.
just showing my age, I guess. But still, do not use cans with any sharp dent on the top or the seat. Anything, if you see the rim, the top doesn't fit, or it's like poking out, if it leaks, obviously, if it's bulging, obviously do not use it. If it has rust, just be careful, get a napkin if it doesn't rust, or wipe the rust off, don't use it. Obviously, if a can doesn't have a label, we don't know what it is, we get rid of it. To let you know, remember we were talking about acidic items or products? They actually start eating from the inside the can. So just be mindful, like tomato paste, tomato sauce, anything like that, their expiration dates are usually a little bit lower, okay? Obviously if it's leaking, any holes, punctures or fractures, do not use it, get rid of it. How many here at your distribution of the pantry do Flying Choice? Do you know what Flying Choice is compared to doing pre-packed bags? So Flying Choice could be a number of things. It could be on the table. You put the food out there and you let the people choose what they want. So we actually prefer Flying Choice because it shows a little that you respect your members and your members, and it gives them a little dignity. For example, the other good thing about Flying Choice is if you do a pre-packed bag and you put all the items one during the line, you'll start seeing at the end people will stop in the middle, block the way. I'll trade you for that. Can I get that? You want this? The other thing is, we don't know if people have allergies or any issues. Somebody's allergic, you know, you're giving them, putting something in your bag, that can cause them more damage in the long run. The flying choice is actually, do you prefer it? If you are, anybody here from any agency not doing flying choice?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
There's, sometimes when you have like, people don't eat, like you said, but when you put some two things and say that, for them to pick up what they want, what they choice. Sometimes people wanna make it like a big Sunday, they wanna take both, and which is they can't, and then when you say no, it'll be a problem.
Yeah.
With all the loving in your heart, no, that one per,
So
and
when
you
I
can tell
say-
them, you can kinda
Yeah.
like, not to say make them feel bad, but like, we gotta save some for the rest of the people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You gotta, listen, we're New Yorkers, we don't like taking no, thank you so much. We don't like taking no for an answer, but sometimes we gotta put a foot down. Listen, I'm nice, up to the point you start getting disrespectful and everything. I'm gonna treat you like you treat me, plain and simple. That's my code of life. What I teach my kids. If you wanna be nasty, you wanna give me, roll your eyes at me, I'm gonna roll my eyes when I disconnect the phone. Listen, I'm Spanish. I grew up on the farm with my mom. With my mother, excuse me. Sorry, my little hood comes out, but you know. New York is going through, baby. Alright, so continuing on cans, how to tell when a dent is severe. If you see it protruding, get rid of it. This one says use your thumb and check. I'm not trying to cut my finger. I don't want to. That's gonna slow you down. You're gonna go back, get the isopropyl alcohol, get a Band-Aid. Don't do it. Best thing to do is the stacking test. Obviously, if it stacks and it stays still, you're good to go. If it keeps falling, the bottom of the can is probably bulging or something is not. It's supposed to stack. If it doesn't stack, something's not right. Just check it, and you can also get rid of it. So if you do client choice and somebody sees a dented can, if it's severely dented, you can just put it on the floor in a little basket container. If it's not too dented, there's something that you would probably buy at the store if there's no other cans. Put it in the back if you're doing client choice. And let the member take the next one. Because at the end of the day, that can that's slightly dented is still good, and somebody at the end of the line will take it. Okay, so we avoid wasting food. Alright, so in this one, so if you can see in the back, obviously when you receive the food or you see something in the box, if it's molded, obviously we're gonna get rid of it. If it's something like this, like blueberries, get rid of it. Obviously, if you see something like some kind of foreign liquid substance on the bag or packaging, get rid of it. But this, like let's say you get a box of limes or something like that, and one is bad, what I would recommend is getting rid of all the outside ones, the ones around it. Unless the whole thing, the whole crate of lemons, apples, whatever is being handed out, unless it's all completely bad, most of it, for the most part, you can use the ones, get rid of the ones on the outside, and you can still use whatever's inside the crate or the container. Obviously, molded fruit. Question: bananas. Can you hand them out if they're green? Green
No,
bananas.
kinda, yeah,
They
right?
don't give you the green ones.
So,
They brought it
also,
green.
New York City, melting pot. We got so many different cultures. I eat green bananas.
One thing.
Like depending on your culture, people eat certain type of food.
Yeah.
For example, obviously if they're yellow, we can hand them out. If they're brown, can you hand out brown bananas?
No,
No. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
some people make banana pudding.
Yeah.
Some people use brown banana, unless the banana is mushy, like leaking, got mad little fruit flies.
Then it's
at
done.
that point, you won't use it. But if you are doing client choice, put it to the side. I guarantee you somebody will use it. Somebody will take it. So it just depends also on the food. So at Food Bank, Hispanic Heritage Month, in February, we try. For example, depending on where you're at, some people ask for different products. Some people ask for kale, or greens, people maybe, and they ask black plantains, so it depends also what people ask for. And if you do get special requests, let me know, because I can bring that up to the office and we can see if we can try to implement that somehow or try to order. The more we get, the more feedback we get, the more we're able to bring it back. If one person asks for it, compared to 100 people, it's better that 100 people ask for the same thing and saying, oh, this is becoming something that's needed.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Alright, so dry storage, date your items as soon as they arrive, using in timely fashion, using first in, first out. Obviously, I think I've been to most of the pantries, you are using metal or plastic shelves. Keep food at least 6 inches off the floor and away from the wall, depending on the space that you have in your pantry. Away, so that way sometimes you kind of see, maybe with a flashlight, to see if anybody's walking through. Okay? I want to tell you about these things. So these things are a blessing and a curse. Not for this new generation, they're like smartphones on people, on kids. That's it. With this, it's very important, yes, you call emergency, whatnot, but also be mindful that nowadays, people are filming everybody. Emergency, people are just filming instead of calling the police or help. I get it, for safety reasons, whatnot, but this is the generation nowadays. That being said, you work at the pantry, you know the inner workings, you know what's going on. If somebody from the outside that has no idea what's going on, they're gonna take a picture, and then they're gonna put it in the news, they're gonna send a complaint. We've been getting a lot of complaints, food safety related things. So anytime you're out in the public eye, please be mindful, use gloves, don't put food on the floor. Everybody's a doctor, everybody has the internet, everybody's a doctor, and everybody's an expert. Okay, so you just be mindful of that. The other thing with these are, they actually say that this is dirtier than the toilet. You believe that? Exactly. You're giving it to the kids, you're calling here, you're cooking something, you're back to your ear. So just be mindful. I know after, during COVID, they were selling these like UV lights to clean this up. I don't know how well that works, but you know, once in a while, every week, get like a little alcohol wipe and just wipe it down. As we say. Alright. So remember, keep food 6 inches off the floor, away from walls, try to keep it light, and try to energy go. You can't always keep the light on. Common sense. So when you can, pests, they like the dark. They like the darkness. So if you see anything on the floor, you can pick it up. You can help clean it up. Now, if you see an infestation, let your leadership know. Let your program or director, executive director know. They will take care of it. They will call the exterminator. Alright? On that note, unfortunately, pantries have to work with a licensed professional exterminator. You can't just go down to the local hardware store and buy your own traps. I've seen somebody make a homemade trap where they had a bucket, a lever, and listen, kudos and points for ingenuity, but unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, especially because pantries are considered a commercial business. You do have a 501c3, you're tax exempt, so technically, the Department of Health could come and they could say they could see something that's unfit, they will tell you to stop it for that. So unfortunately, because a pantry is considered kind of like a commercial business, we have stricter rules. Alright, lastly, I know we said, we talked about the dangerous temperature zone. Does anybody remember what that is? Thank you. So even though the last point says keep room 50 to 60 degrees for dry storage, that's within the beginning of the temperature danger zone, that's the optimal place to keep the food stored. Food in that temperature will last longer than keeping it in somewhere where it's 80 or 90 degrees. Okay, depending on the food as well. Alright, so try to protect from insect, rodents, have good lighting, clean under the shelves, store chemicals and cleaning supplies away from food, make sure that the area is well ventilated, order food close to distribution to reduce amount stored. Obviously, we see the demand increasing. Most of the times, when you order something, whatever comes in that day, it goes out the same day. So that's kind of helping alleviate storing food. But if you do have to store food, which is fine, make sure you're practicing first in, first out, and daily food. Any programs here have different programs, have a soup kitchen and a food pantry? No? Alright. So if you do have multiple EPROs, EPRO is just Emergency Food Relief Organization. You have to kind of store your food away and label it. If you have 4 refrigerators, you have 1 freezer, 1 cooler, freezer for the soup kitchen, that's great, but you can't be using stuff from the soup kitchen and the food pantry. That's what we ask. Okay? Cold storage, obviously, why is it important to keep the food cold? No bacteria, we're not eating bad food, contaminated food. Once again, cold temperatures do not kill bacteria, it only slows the growth down. Only cooking will kill bacteria. If you are looking at your refrigerators or at the freezers, be mindful that thermal distribution, I get it, we're always opening in, different people are coming in, moving things out to the outside. But when you're not on distribution days and you're at the pantry, notice if you have commercial refrigeration, the silver ones, like a triple door, double door ones, sometimes they have like an electronical thermometer, excuse me. So those are great and all, but we do ask you, and we do tell you one of the requirements, as I mentioned earlier, since we are in a commercial business, you actually have to have the small thermometers inside. Now, for example, everything breaks. The reading on this could go wrong. What happens a couple of years ago when we had the Irene, Sandy, we lost power for a couple hours, a couple of days. What's to say it doesn't happen to you at your house? You leave work, you leave your house in the morning at 6 in the morning and you come back, you went to work, but that day we lost power. If you're lucky, you go home. If not, the food in your house is gonna be cold. You don't know if it's gonna be good or not till you come back, right? You come back at 5 in the afternoon. How do you know your food is good or bad to eat?
As long as the refrigerator is closed completely.
So yes, so that's the point. If you look at refrigerators, they have like a rubber seal.
Yeah.
Remember what we tell the little kids, stop opening and closing the door, you can let the cold air out. That's the reason for that as well. But little thermometers is always good to have. So refrigeration should be between below 41 degrees and 33 degrees. And freezers and coolers should be anything below 0. So if you notice something doesn't look right, those numbers don't look right, the refrigerator might be, things go bad. It's part of life. Just let your leadership know and hopefully we'll look at it. Depending on the refrigeration, whoever gave it to you, maybe it's still in warranty, maybe you're still able to get it repaired. Alright. Now how do you ensure that a cold storage unit is the proper temperature? Like I said, you could use one of these little thermometers. The inexpensive food bank, the online ordering system has them for sale for $4 or $5. You could also use like the little ones, like rectangular ones. But that's how you know. So as a commercial business, every restaurant, every deli, you have to abide by this rule. So when I come and do the inspections for your pantry, this is one of the things that I look for. Alright, the danger zone. I said 41 to 140 is where microorganisms grow the fastest. So even room temperature is within that danger zone. Alright, this one, not too much. Alright, we're gonna keep moving. These guys, these freeloaders. I can make my kids at least go do something, take out the trash, but these guys, they're just impossible. So pests, rodents, mice or rats. Let you know that, what is it, a quarter. A medium-sized rat, they don't have bones. So they can actually fit, they can freeze their body in that little hole. So if you, outside on the pantry, on distribution days, if you do outside distribution, if you notice a little hole, let your leadership know. There's ways to seal it and everything, but they could squeeze into that much. Alright, so bugs, or roaches and flies, what to do to prevent them. Like I said earlier, work with a professional licensed pest control operator. Minimum, there has to be somebody visiting the pantry once every 3 months. If you do notice that it's becoming more frequent and more stuff on the floor, then obviously you get the exterminator come more frequently. Keep outside doors and windows closed, screened if possible during the summertime. Make sure you clean up any food spills or residue, keep the facility clean. Make sure you get to hard to reach places, which is why we also say keep the food 6 inches away. If you can, great. I know sometimes some spaces are tight, so we do put the food against the wall. Just be mindful that if you do see something, say something. And light, it says keep facility well lit to identify pests. Obviously, we can't keep the lights on all day. I can understand that. Just be mindful of that as well. Reduce harborage, garbage, clutter in the facility. Take out the garbage daily. Clean up after yourselves. Store 6 inches above and away from the wall. If possible, it says store drinks in plastic containers. This one doesn't really make sense, these are the places in your home, I understand that and I see that because it happens in the house, in the pantry. Not that we don't have time, but we're hustling and bustling. Right? We want to try to get home as well. Repair any cracks or seals in the facility, let the leadership know. Check deliveries for the same thing. So if you receive your deliveries, make sure if you see anything like that as well, you have the power to reject the complaint. Take pictures, send me an email, you have 24 hours to file my complaint. Throw foods that have any signs of pest activity, sanitize any area with the signs of pest activity. Alright, so personal hygiene. Any questions with pest control? Plain and simple. Personal hygiene, everything starts with you. So give me one tip to keep yourself, to keep the food safe.
Wash your hands.
And gloves.
Wear gloves, anything else?
Mask.
Well, yeah, man. Keep yourself safe from when you're dealing with people in fun. Alright, so starting from the beginning, believe it or not, bathe or shower daily.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You know that really, like when something happens, like not to say like an emergency or something that happens, then they come up with a rule that we can like a law, or some kind of rule or law that we can't do this. So they said something bad, horrible to happen before they came up with that rule. We're still talking about it, so yes, bathe, shower daily. Maybe, who knows, maybe the neighbor outside, you know, maybe he lost his job, they're on the rough footing right now, so you never know. Alright, wear clean clothes and aprons. Obviously, if you're at a restaurant, you don't want to see your waiter, like, I mean, obviously if they're working at a pizzeria, you see the dust, but you're at Red Lobster and you don't want to see somebody wearing something dirty, right? Make sure your hair is tied back. I don't have that problem. Soup kitchens, they do require that you do a haircut. If you want to wear one in the pantry, you don't need to. Ladies, or especially people with long hair, if you're bending over to pick up boxes, if you're wearing long jewelry, necklaces, bracelets, things like that, when you pick yourself up, you don't want something to get caught, you get pulled, or your jewelry breaks. So to be mindful of that. Keep your nails trimmed. My 17-year-old daughter is wearing these vampire nails. I think it's really cute. She thinks it's cute. I think it's horrible. But, for example, if you put on gloves, and those pointy nails, what do you think they're going to do to the gloves? So obviously in the winter time, we can use kind of like those cloth gloves, like the rubber little thing, like the construction gloves. In the summertime, it gets too hot for that, so we still have to use those rubber gloves. They do get sweaty on the inside after working so far, right? You feel your hands get sweaty there. Keep your nails trimmed, wash your hands and forearms frequently. Leave jewelry at home. Personal items, obviously, you know where to store your items when you get to your pantry. Just be mindful because things grow feet sometimes. If you're not feeling well, if you're sick, stay home. You're volunteering your time. We appreciate the hard work and effort that you put in to volunteer your time. It's hard to even volunteer time nowadays. So thank you. But if you're not feeling well, please stay home. All right, hand washing. We're talking about it. We still teach our kids. We still I'm telling you now, as younger adults. But, question. Besides COVID, forget about COVID. Why do you think hand sanitizer is not a good substitute for hand washing?
Makes
Oh,
your
it
hand
doesn't get
dry.
the germs off properly.
Okay, so
Makes your hand dry, very
that
dry.
doesn't have nothing to do with it. But
Okay.
yes, it will dry up the skin. Did somebody say something else?
I was saying it doesn't get the germ completely off. It's just like a little covering right there.
So it's not mostly the germs. Think of it this way. People who like gardening. If you were gardening, you know, you do your thing, no gloves, and now you got dirt all over your hands. What's hand sanitizer gonna do? Hand sanitizer does go into your pores, and it will kind of, you know, during COVID it was different because we didn't know no better. Keep safe, everybody kept buying things. False advertisement. It kills 99.9999999% bacteria, blah, 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 blah. What about the other 0.0001? There's still that chance that, but, going back to hand washing. Hand washing actually, you can scrub the dirt off. You can scrub the dirt off. stuff under your fingernails. You can scrub it off. If you put hand sanitizer on your hands with the dirt, what's it gonna do?
Yeah.
Nothing. Now, don't get me wrong.
Make it
Now,
clean, wet dirt.
if you have no option to wash your hands, not gonna say it's a bad thing, but you know, once in a while it's good. You know, you're coming to the pantry, you're getting off the subway, you're using the rails. Obviously, there's no dirt there, but how many people have used those
Oh,
handrails?
boy.
So hand sanitizer, it's not that it's a bad thing, it's just hand washing is the best thing to do,
Forget the soap.
right? So requirements, you should be washing your hands for a minimum 20 seconds or send yourself the happy birthday song twice. But there's actually a list, because somebody looked it up. Somebody looked it up. That's actually a lot of songs, or like little, not full songs, but like little nursery rhymes, stuff like that are 20 seconds. It's a big list. I was surprised how big that list was. Use warm water, soap, paper towels, hand dryers, wash your hands with this. Okay? So, when you come to the pantry, tell me all the different type of scenarios why you should wash your hands, or what you should need to wash your hands. So at the pantry, what are the scenarios? Why would you wash your hands?
He's gonna be serving food and
The hand washing is just.
So, what you should be washing your hands when you come. First, you're coming from the taxi, the bus, or touching things. After cleaning or taking out the trash, obviously, then you gotta deal with food. After coughing or sneezing, after smoking or eating, after touching your hair and your face, you know, people expect your hand, then, oh, nice to meet you, pleasure, take care of yourself. Love you, good luck, say hi to family for me. Using the restrooms, touching your phones, computers. How many, listen, I do it sometimes.
1,000 times.
How many times going to the bathroom? It just, listen, these things, you just gotta remember to somehow kind of wipe them up a little bit. Working with raw meats and vegetables, not at the pantry, but more like at home. Couple more true false, I know some people have to leave. So, hand washing should, food handlers must scrub their hands and arms for 5 seconds.
False.
How long?
20 seconds.
Gloves should be used to handle, food, especially if handlers have open swords.
Oh, true.
Yes, the answer is true. I will tell you though, if you were cutting potatoes, peeling, and you know, you kind of nick your finger or whatever, and it's a big cut, and the food pantry, the food solutions the next day, I wouldn't even come. Because let's say you need sutures. First of all, if you're gonna put gloves on, your hands are gonna sweat with the gloves. So now you're just creating more bacteria for that little cut. If it's a severe cut. If it's you gotta cut after a week and it's sealing and it's closing, that's fine. You can still wear gloves. So just be mindful of that. Food handlers must wash their hands after smoking, using the bathroom, sneezing, coughing, etc.
True.
Okay. Any questions with hand washing? We're still talking about it. We'll start talking about it. So obviously, we gotta keep
Yeah, I know.
ourselves healthy. Repacking. Anybody know what repacking is? Common sense. But does anybody know what repacking at a food pantry is? So, repacking at a food pantry, we are not allowed to do it. You can do it at a soup kitchen because they have a sink, they have chemicals to clean the countertops, the cutting boards, knives, and whatnot. Repacking means that let's say you get a delivery from a local bakery, and you get a big brown bag with those big, like 2 feet long breads. They're delicious. Problem is, you can't give one bread to just one person. That's just unfair. People are gonna say, like, well, how come he got that long one? So you would think, like, all right, so let's go cut it, package it, put it in Saran wrap, put it in a plastic bag. You get a piece, you get a piece, you get a piece, everybody gets a piece. All right, can't do that. That's repacking. We're cutting into something. Now, obviously, there's some items, for example, that come prepackaged, or the skin, like potatoes, onions, those you can because they have the outside peel. That's fine. But when you're actually cutting into something, you're exposing the inside of whatever that product is. And that's repacking. So if you get peanuts, I've seen people get boxes of big cashews, walnuts, whatever. Not the ones that come in the bag. Big boxes, and yes, okay, that's fine, because we're not cutting into it. It has the outside shell. You know, you wear gloves, put it in individual bags, and then you can separate like that. That's fine. But Technically, repacking increases the risk of contamination. Some pantries do not have licenses. Soup kitchens, you have to have a department license from the city. You don't have that. Alright? So obviously, if you do happen to receive any large packages of food, you can give them out. You just have to come with a couple suggestions. Either you give it a raffle system, you give it to large families. If you know there's a particular family that is big, that's fine. Just do it on the DL, don't make it too obvious, people don't complain. Last thing you want to do is have one person complain and then everybody's like, how come I didn't get that? How come I didn't get that? No. Sorry about that. So pretty much repack, yes sir.
So sometimes pantries get big bags of flour, big bags of rice, and they repack it and put them in bags. They use a scoop and put them in bags.
That's repacking.
So
So I don't know why rice, you can't do that.
Okay.
Rice, for the most part, from food bank, you get them in like the 1 pound bag. And rice is different because rice is one of those things that we talked about. Any type of moisture
Yeah.
will make it cook and everything and really make the rice bad. You can't double cook rice. Just because it got wet a little bit once and you take it home in that pre-packed bag like you said, it's not good to eat. Yes sir.
What about if you get like a donation or you purchase meats, you know, like from the supermarket or retail place, you have all these meats, it's not individually packaged. Are you able to repack it?
Meats, the answer is no. The Department of Health will say that's repacking and you're not allowed to do it. Now, I will say no hablo inglés, no lo conozco. Whatever you do, you run the risk of damaging your food pantry. If by any chance somebody's taking the picture, if somebody comes from the city to inspect, now, sometimes when I come, everybody wants to do the right thing. You know, mom and dad are home, everybody's playing right. Same thing. When mom and dad's not around, woo, good luck. So be very careful what you do. Like I said, me even hearing this, no entiendo, no hablo inglés. Hablo chino. So you just gotta be careful with that.
One question.
Yes, sir.
A couple weeks ago, we get some 20 bags of rice, about 6 or 7 bags, about 20 pounds.
Okay.
What we should do with that? We should send it back?
So what I said earlier, yes, you can reject it. If you know there's a big family, I know a family that has 12 kids, 10 kids themselves, that's 12. That's not even auntie, uncle Bill, whatever. It's just, if you have a big family, if you know it, you can just tell them quietly, listen, come around the corner and like, even though you're not supposed to, but to get rid of that bag, because you didn't reject it, or you could do, it says do a raffle system. I don't know if we have time to do a raffle system during the distribution, depending how many people you serve. So just be mindful of that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So we also order like kale. Those things come in, I suppose, crates, but we use plastics. We use plastic
That's
bags. That's fine?
That's fine, because that's kind of like the same thing you would do at a grocery store.
Okay.
Everything's open there, getting mist and everything from the machines and getting that back. And that's okay. We're not cutting into the kale. Yeah, we're separating them, but it's still, that's technically allowed. Let me try to get to this quick. Like I said, if you receive foods in large packages, create a raffle system, give it out to our families, or reject the delivery. Food bank, I know the only big items that we give out is probably that big 50-pound bag of dog food.
Dog food, yeah.
But other than that, all our food items are small. Like I said, whatever you do at your house, I'm gonna tell you, you can do whatever, you keep doing what you want. For the food pantry, there are certain rules and regulations. I don't know exactly the quantity, the big size of what you get from like other funders like City Harvest, United Way. So just be mindful. Because this food safety training, we all kind of give the same thing. All right, so real important, food dates. And then I think we're gonna cut it short after this. Food dating is very important. Why? I'm glad you're here today because you're gonna learn some things here that might shock you, might not. So, a couple things that I want you to pay attention to is
I just wanna work.
expiration date determines if the product is still safe to consume. Couple things about expiration date. If you happen to get these if you see these things right here, sometimes we give out baby formula and food, okay? If you see it's expired, do not give it out. If you have medication, you have diabetes, you suffer from heart condition, you have anything, do not use it. Expired vitamins, use baking powder. Do we have any bakers here? Anybody that bakes cake? Anybody that bakes? All right, I should see more hands. So, if you have, what is baking powder used for?
To rise.
Say that again?
To rise.
Mix whatever you
Mix with, yeah, basically.
Now, meaning expired means that whatever chemical is in there is not gonna give you that 100% effect. So if you use expired baking powder, instead of getting a full rise, you might get half or less. So, imagine you have a heart problem, and you have to take medication for your heart, and it's expired. So if I'm telling you you're not getting the most out of it, and you're only getting this much out of it, are you still going to use that medication?
No.
Okay.
Shouldn't.
Same concept. You shouldn't. That's at that point you call your doctor, get them to make a new prescription, whatnot, whatever the case may be. So this just means that that yeast baking powder are safe but less effective. And this is yeast and baking powder. But medication, baby formula, that's something for kids who we're talking about building an immune system. I wouldn't take it.
So the baby food is about 2 months left to expire.
So that's hit or miss.
That's
If
borderline.
you got 2 months left to expire,
I gotta go that day.
yes, I would make sure I would tell them, please use it as soon as possible. Because at the end of the day, you give it to them, it's your choice.
No,
You
but
hand it or
food
not.
man keep on bringing this baby food.
And let us know, because we've had that before. Let us know.
Okay.
Let us know if you get a donation like that.
Okay.
If it's from us anyway. But, all right, now going back to so we talked about expiration date. Now, let's talk about other things you will see on items. You will see pack by date, sell by date, use by date. So these all determine the quality of the item. It is often safe to consume past this date. That means after it's past that date on the item, you can use it. Depending how it's stored, if it's within that 50 to 60 temperature range, if there is no pest, if you see nothing wrong with it, sub-item, that's considered perfect optimal conditions. Stored in those conditions, there's some items that can last longer than the pack by, sell by, and use by date. Pack by date means is when the item was packaged by the manufacturer, by the plant, by Nabisco, whatever you buy. So just to let you know, the federal government does not dictate these dates. The companies who package them, because they know what they're buying, they're the ones that have an idea of how long the food should last. So pack by date, when the item was packaged, sell by date, when the item should leave the store. Back in that here, you go to a grocery store, I'm Spanish obviously, we used to love plantain, the plátanos.
Mm-hmm.
When they were getting bad, you see them 10 for 1. 10, or the yogurts. 10, like 12, whatever. Nowadays, I don't see that anymore. But all that means is, sell by date is just the store saying that we sell the precious product, we want to make room for the next batch of items. So it doesn't mean that if you're buying bad stuff, you feel good. You're just helping them clear that space. That's it. Yes, sir.
So, like with pantries and other food storage places, if a can says sell by date July 3rd, how long after this you should keep it?
We're going to talk about that in a little bit, because I know exactly what that question is. But, so use by date, best by date, when the product is the highest quality. This one, if you see this one, I would say, so expiration, then use by date, and then the other two are just like trying to say, when you see use by date, try to eat that as soon as you can. Because that also will affect the quality, the flavor, the nutrients of whatever the product is. Okay? So, proper storage allows you to consume products past their dates. So, best by date, sell by, use by date. If kept in correct temperatures, away from pallets, properly ventilated, food will still be safe. Now, that being said, under perfect conditions, how long do you think a box of frozen sausage will last by use by date? Throw me a number, throw me a date. A month, 3 months, years, whatever you guys think.
1 week.
1 week? Remember, frozen sausage.
No.
A month.
Indefinitely. Now,
Indefinitely.
because we're practicing first in, first out at our homes and in our pantry, I will never let this get to indefinite. Indefinite means the product will still be good to eat. It's not gonna look right, but technically you can't eat it.
No.
You can't eat it. Like I said, we're never gonna let it get that point because we're practicing first in, first out. In our homes, in our pantries. Oh, here's another thing. With this, frozen food, obviously it's continuously frozen below 100 degrees, 0 degree. We're not opening, taking it out of the freezer, putting it on the counter.
Then putting it back.
Okay? Perfect optimal conditions. A little bag of dry rice, how long can they last by its use by date?
I don't even know.
Now,
Indefinitely.
There's no little things.
Indefinitely.
Also, be very careful with this. With these little bags of rice, weevils.
Yeah.
So I Google weevils. So the majority of the time, they come from the packaging plants. It could also be that when you're storing, like you're moving stuff from the car into the house, I've seen some people throw their bags of rice on the floor. Come on, that's a big no-no. Because whatever it is, it's just weevils. Google it. But technically, how long do you think this little bag of rice can last?
A month.
Come on.
1 year. Once again, I will not allow it in my own cabinet. I will not allow this to get even past 2 months.
A year.
We're Spanish. We eat rice like we're like Italian bread. Now, how long can canned tuna last by its use by date?
Okay, that's a week.
Anything else? Anybody else?
Yeah.
A year.
Anybody else?
Oh.
We just say, because we know that we go by the date, so we don't know.
4 years. 4 years.
After the spike date?
After it'll say use by date.
They don't even swim for 4 years.
Now, 4 years is a long time. I don't know.
You have to buy more of those.
I mean, you gotta be really, really hungry. Yeah. So make sure the cans do not have any dents or rust. Going back to the thing with the tomato paste and everything, items are acidic. It'll start eating from the inside.
Yeah.
So it probably won't be the 4 years. That's for items that are acidic, obviously.
Ugh,
Now, peanut butter.
10 years. I mean, shoot.
Technically, 18 months.
Why we had
18 months if sealed. So now, we were talking about this earlier, like, there's a lot of items, saltine crackers, like, once you pop the seal open, like, they can last long. If the item is sealed, a lot of items will last long. Once you pop the seal, that's when you will have to eat it, wash it, and you'll probably go to waste fast. Alright? For example, we talked about this, once you pop the seal open, those 18 months are done drained. Now you just have to watch it in the cabinet and make sure doesn't get clumpy, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The dry shelf stable milk, the Parliament, I don't know if you guys get this, these little milks that you don't need to put in refrigeration.
A week.
How long do you think these can last?
Yes.
1 year.
1 year.
Oh, there you go.
So once it's sealed, now you have to put it in the refrigerator and, use it. It's less than a week. Now, question. I'm Spanish, I'm from Colombia, and I'm pretty sure a lot of countries in the Caribbean, when you go back home, you see eggs, milk, and no refrigeration. Why? You see it right there in the open marketplace. Why?
Because it's a warm climate, they don't have to refrigerate it.
I would say the temperature.
Once you open the seal in the package, you gotta put it in refrigeration, like the milk. I've seen the bags of milk that come in like this.
But I'm
And then you have to put it in a little container and then put it in the refrigerator.
I'm referring to the eggs.
No, so I know what you're saying, but the real reason is in the United States, there's a process called pasteurization. Have you heard of that word?
Yes.
You know what that means?
Much like this.
Do you actually know what the meaning means? No. Pasteurization in this country, because of health reasons, they think that if you, what is it called? You cook it in an instant, or the high heat pressurization, they think that it kills all the bacteria from the eggs and the milk, or dairy products.
Yeah.
So they pasteurize it, they put it in the machine, they cook it in like a high heat, like a dry, not a dry, like a dry freeze, but like they cook it fast. After you pasteurize it, now it has to be refrigerated. That's why all dairy products here in the United States, other than like the cheeses, they have to be pasteurized. They have to be refrigerated, excuse me. But only in this country, that's what they believe, and this is their standards. That process is why everything has to be refrigerated here. Back home, you see like, let me get you the eggs. I don't even need to buy the whole dozen. You say like, in Spanish, you say que me fíe.
Yeah.
Like, I owe you these 2-3 eggs. Yeah. Right? It's just, but here, everything has to be pressurized. This milk, like I said, when you first buy it, it can be in regular climate, but once you open it, then it has to go refrigerated.
Right.
Eggs, how long can they last by the sell by day?
I don't know.
No, this is a month.
A month?
There is like a little test, like you can put it like in a little bowl of water. I think if it floats, it's fresh. If it sinks, it's stale, something like that. You can do that. All right, canned vegetables, how long do you think will last?
A year.
No,
No, 3 years.
We just saw something similar to
Yes,
the canned
6 years.
So 4 years. If it doesn't have a label, if it's really not dented, then. Now, potatoes.
Oh, that's like a month.
Potatoes with
A week.
with the eye. Can we give them out?
No. Yes?
No. I say no.
I say no.
Yeah, because
So technically, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can get, if it's not overrun by the eye, you can give them out. But usually, as long as they're not wrinkled or soft, people can cut when you peel them, you're taking off the eye. Now, not to scare you. Not to scare you about potatoes. But, anybody ever cut into a potato and they see like a little green tint, a green shape?
Yeah,
Yes.
seen that.
Is it green like a?
So technically, that's a toxin. You have to eat like 10 pounds of potatoes in 1 second to actually feel some kind of food, some kind of like issue. But if you eat a couple potatoes with green, you just get a little indigestion. That's it. And it's something short, quick. You have to eat a lot of pounds of potatoes to actually feel something bad. But that toxin is called solanine. Solanine.
I seen that on French fries too.
So, if you do happen to, if it's overly green, I would say just get rid of the potato. I've seen people cut it in half, and just eliminate the part that's green. Be careful, just something FYI. It's not gonna kill you unless you love potatoes and you need like 20 pounds of French fries or a minimum. Yes, you can give out. Now, we answered this already. Bananas, can you hand out green or brown bananas? The answer should be yes. Some cultures, they do eat brown bananas they use for other things, cooking purposes and whatnot.
Green banana.
In Colombia, we eat green mangoes. We put some salt on it, and I love it. But then again, I'm mostly used to it, so maybe somebody else is not used to eating green bananas. They may feel
Ain't green bananas plantains?
So pretty much, food dating is important. So I'm glad that a lot of you are here. It's for your personal knowledge. You know that sometimes items can last longer than use by days. If you are telling a member coming on a distribution day, they will not believe you. do have some food safety guides. I don't have any more physical copies, but I will send the digital one. I will send it to the program director, all the people who signed from the group. They will be getting a copy of it, and they will give you more items with more dates. Just like I did this exercise with the dates and everything, it'll give you more specific items. I will be sending that out. Alright, so obviously, knowing how to interpret food dates, reduces food waste, personally and at the pantry, keeps your client safe. So when you do get a food delivery, that's why if you do know, the delivery people should be writing down the dates. But if sometimes you do see something that is expired, please let us know. Nothing in life is perfect, we can't catch everything, so the more pairs of eyes see the items, please let us know, okay? Recall, so this is something, a new topic that, not new, but for this food safety training, obviously we heard of the boar's head, listeria thing.
Yeah.
Alright, so recalls, I'm not gonna go through the whole spiel, but what are recalls? They're defined as removal of products from commercial marketplaces for reasons including contamination, mishandling, damage, or mislabeling. Foodborne illness is defined, okay, they're saying that when two or more people experience same symptoms after consuming the same product, that's when recalls, you know, they do studies and surveys. FDA, the USDA regulates and inspects meats and poultry that cross. So these are all just all the FDA, CDC, and things that they do. There is no set of code, but they do work hand in hand when they have like a big recall. Like when they have multiple people, like punch the people, they'll let you know. There's some methods. If you do hear a recall, you won't hear an email from Food Bank letting you know that please do not use this product. You can throw it out. Or even in the news, most people will hear something in the news. There are a couple common foodborne illnesses, including E. coli, salmonella, norovirus, listeria, shigella, botulism, all that stuff. So just be mindful. I'm not going to go through all this. But if you do want, there's a website, if you want to take a picture of this, these websites, you can sign into like one of those things where like if there is a national recall of any type of food, some people like to order food from different states just because if you grew up in the South and they don't have this in the North, whatnot, you can see these websites and they can tell you nationwide what recalls in the product. Okay, there's a couple numbers to the FDA, USDA, if you want that, just in case you want to call, something happens. Like I said, this is too more technical. Recalls, just be careful, listen to the news. If you see emails from Food Bank talking about recalls, just be careful. Try to not give up to your neighbors and the community. And that's it. Safety reasons. Cooking is the only way to kill bacteria.
Close.
True.
Oh, sure.
Cooking it to the right temperature. That's pretty much it for me. That you should know. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Jorge from thank you for coming. Once again, like I said, these cards will be emailed to your program director for your agency in about 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully sooner. If you do have questions about your name being misspelled, I do apologize, but you can also get them correctly later on. Please be safe. Thank you for everything for you do. Thank you for coming to your guys. Be safe. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm getting off. Yeah, you need to get something to eat. Give me a second, but I'm off this. Shit, you the only person that been in here. But